The Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida.
From Mallory Square in Key West to the Governor's Mansion in Tallahassee and all points beyond, you're listening to the Florida Beer Podcast, powered by FloridaBeerBlog.com, your source for all things related to the craft beer community in the Sunshine State. And now your host, Dave Butler.
Welcome back to part 2 of our interview with Cove Brewing on the Florida Beer Podcast, powered by FloridaBeerBlog.com. This is David Butler, your host and author. If you haven't listened to part 1 on episode 192, I recommend you do so, because we're just going to jump right in with the rest of our interview with Cove Brewing head brewer Manny and his brewer Tyler Immell. We're going to be talking a little bit about finding the right beers that connect with their audience and grabbing the locals and bringing them in. We're also going to be talking about wontons, and we're talking about Pilar, which is the Asian concept next door to the brewery, and the French bistro concept right next to that. Both of those locations do not, well, Pilar has seating, wontons does not, but they both have phenomenal food, as I was able to taste during the interview, and you can order and get your food delivered right to you at the brewery, which is amazing. And then obviously, we want to know what the future holds for Cove Brewery, and Tyler and Manny were more than happy to let us know. So here we are with part 2, Cove Brewing in Deerfield Beach with Manny Janis and Tyler Immell. Enjoy. Now, one thing that I have noticed about the craft beer industry is that breweries just don't open up as just breweries anymore. Food is such an integral part of the experience, to where a lot of the new ones are coming up would almost be indistinguishable from brew pubs. Now, you are a little bit different in that you kind of had a partner when opening up the Cove, that you had sort of a ready-made food entity, shall we say, not necessarily the Cove's own kitchen, but there's sort of a symbiotic relationship with Tom Yum.
So, yes, you are correct. So, essentially for us, we own the building that we're in. And it's not just the brewery, but we've got other units. When we opened up the brewery, in the early stages, the thought process was, well, people need food. People are going to need food. So what do you do in that case? So like any good brewery, we said, we're not going to do any damn food. It's just not going to damn happen. We're not doing it. It's not happening. But because we do own the building, we're going to open up a place that serves food in the building. I'm not going to try to get ahead of myself, but we've got 2 places in our building that have food, right? We were fortunate enough early on that the guys over at Papa's Raw Bar down in Pompano Beach that have been in business for over 35 years and do seafood better than anybody else, those guys were interested in opening up a takeout kitchen. Made a lot of sense for us. We looked at it as in 4 walls, these guys are going to make food, and we don't have to be responsible for it. They looked at it as we can make food, and we don't have to have a customer service area for it. The brewery becomes a place in where people can sit and dine, and if they want to have beers, great. And for us, we were like, people are going to come in and have beers, and if they want to dine, all they have to do is, scan a QR code, and the food comes right to them. The cherry on top was that these guys came in guns blazing with incredible Asian-infused food.
And that's kind of weird, because you take a look at a kitchen, you take a look at a food concept that supports a brewery, it's either pizza, don't get me wrong, I love pizza, especially a good craft pizza, or kind of a general American fare, mostly what can drop inside a fryer. Asian is such a different cuisine. So I guess, especially for somebody, as you said, like they've been, Papa's Raw Bar has been around for decades. But Asian? It's kind of a, like, where did that process come from?
That's what happens when you got If there are children listening, I'm sorry, but that's what happens when you got big balls and you don't care. You just come in and you do things the right way. These guys came in, they had a concept. We thought savory and salty. People are going to want to drink more beers, right? That's psychology behind it. But the food is so elevated. These guys have already won a bunch of awards with their food, and they've only been open as long as we have. So for a year and a half, they're killing it. They're killing it. So it's been great for us. Not just for our stomachs, because we get to eat there all the time, but it's great for our patrons, right? Now, Troy over there and his team at Wonton's, they've been fantastic. They've been able to curate their food, not just to make themselves unique in the market, but to also be able to symbiotically match it with the beers that we have. Without even speaking about it.
That's a good question because, obviously if there's a kitchen and there's a brew house, there's a lot of communication between the two. Technically, it's not the same company, and, Asian has, very distinct flavors. That was going to be my question. Like, how do you pair the two? Do you communicate about the two, or did it just sort of happen?
Wait until you try that Wagyu Sando.
Oh boy!
These guys do it right. I mean, it's elevated Asian infusion food. Great pairing with us. Not to mention, in our own building, we also have a bistro, kind of French coffee shop over here called Pilar, and they do some fun stuff too. They do a lot of flatbreads, and they got a really beautiful menu of stuff.
Oh gosh, where do you start? Because the menu is not small by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
How do you start?
These
Where do you
guys
start?
are
What do you do?
Restaurant quality food, and they bring it out to you in the right way. They dress it up beautifully. The presentation is great.
I would honestly say the best way of where to start is a shotgun approach. I mean, you really can't go wrong with just throwing a dart at the menu. I've been trying to find something I don't like, and I've failed so far, which I don't like failing a whole lot.
No. Listen, you're talking to the right guy. Tyler's our food connoisseur here.
Well, I mean, as a brewer, I can very confidently say all I talk about is food in the back. So I have been trying to find something I don't like from them, and again, have failed thus far.
Oh, I'm happy. That is a fantastic Wagyu egg roll. Now, that leads me to my question. Actually, I want to step back a little bit because you did mention that even though there are some expectations for the beers and the styles and the flavors that you have, you're still allowed to experiment quite a bit. You're still allowed to go kind of crazy, not go crazy, but allowed to expand the boundaries past 5 different IPAs and a couple fruited sours.
Yeah. So we've been lucky. Manny, myself, and Brendan have been really lucky in just being able to experiment with kind of whatever we not necessarily wanted to do, but I mean, the Cosmic Tide was born of...
It's whatever we want to do.
Yeah, it's whatever we want to do. Okay, I'm tiptoeing here.
Jay, Melissa, and Christy, the owners here, they're wonderful in so many different ways, but what makes them, successful at their business endeavors is that they trust in the people that they have. Early on, when we got here, you got to be careful, right? You don't want to get too crazy. You want to be able to open up to your market the right way. So we started out with a core 5, right? So we started out with our Pekala Pilsner, our American wheat, which is Heat Wave, which we just changed, by the way, the entire recipe. Our Left Break, which is our West Coast IPA. Our Tide and Seek, which is our West Coast double IPA. And Tan Man, which is our Oktoberfest, / Amber Lager. And that was kind of our flagship first 5 beers going out. And as we got into the building, we knew that we had the equipment and the tools to be able to make great classic German-style beers and great classic American-style beers. But it gave us the opportunity, because we've got 28 handles. it gave us the opportunity to also say, you know what, we can focus heavy on the classic stuff. We can focus heavy on the American classic stuff. But there's an opportunity for us to really, really get creative. And having a guy like Tyler and myself that are literally bouncing ideas, the craziest, funnest shit that we can think of, gave us an opening to say, listen, we still have another 4 or 5 more tap handles that we can do whatever we want and do it in a scheduled way that we can say it's seasonal and limited release. And so how is it that we like to pick our beers?
We will literally try and pick a style, and then we tear the paper up after we write it down, throw it in a hat, and then we'll draw from that. And then from there, like, this last iteration of it was Manny drew black IPA, I got red IPA, and we decided to just get really weird with it. So for the red, we used a thiolized yeast strain with a bunch of New Zealand hops, and then just a regular red base. And then with the black IPA...
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Thiolized yeast strain, classic Cascadian style, West Coast black IPA. For those that know, you know.
Yeah.
You know. Tyler, actually, when he pulled that red IPA out, he took it a little bit further. Tyler was like, not only am I going to make a red IPA, but I'm going to use a lager yeast strain, thiolized, and make it an imperial. So, yeah, he made this beautiful, beautiful style of beer. I still miss it.
I still miss it too.
I think I'm going to shed a tear. To be honest with you.
Now, I will say, especially since you've got this amazing Asian food concept next door, how often do those flavors tend to play into what you might be interested in brewing? Have you gotten inspired by them or Pilar with any of those flavors to, hey, maybe let's go a little crazy. Let's have some real fun.
I mean, the craziest thing I've really thought of in regards to that is trying to do some kind of collab with Juan Tom's and using a sake yeast and getting weird in that regard. I know it's been done a million times before, but I think putting our little spin on it, and especially with the way that we do things here and getting things weird and flavorful, I think that's the direction we would probably go with that. Yeah.
The moment you do a rice lager, let me know.
Yeah, it might be more rice than anything else, but
Yeah, funny how that works.
Let's make it a sake.
Now, the other thing is, and I guess because you are so close to the beach, I would assume you get a lot of people that have been on the beach all day, and they come here for a couple of beers. But you got some beer. You got some big beers. You got I was amazed to see the Belgian Strong on tap. Do you get who do you get the beach people that generally come in here for that, or who does a lot of those?
Honestly, a little column A, little column B.
The hat speaks, right? We throw these little papers into a hat, and the hat speaks. And that's how it is. No, like Tyler said, like we have such an array of different kind of beers. I mean, our core beers are, we're looking at our top 3 selling beers are a pineapple blonde, a traditional Helles, and a traditional Czech style Pilsner. Super light beers. Our number 4 selling beer is, our hazy, imperial juicy IPA Cosmic Tide. Actually, I take that back. It's Refraction Swell. And after that, it's our West Coast style, left break, our West Coast style 6.5% IPA. And then we've got some in-betweens, right? We've got some sours that are really fun. We've got some dark beers that are really fun. But yes, in regards to ABVs, our heavy hitters, what pays the bills in the building, are our top 3 beers. The Pineapple Blonde, our Helles, and our Pilsner, by far.
All of which are perfect beach beers.
Yes.
Nice
yes.
hot weather, yeah.
You'd be surprised. Some people coming up from the beach do want that black IPA or that Belgian dark strong. I mean, we made it here because I do love Belgian beers, and I love Barrel of Monks, but there aren't a whole lot of Belgian beers outside of Barrel of Monks down here. You'll see a wit every now and again, but I've always been a Belgian double kind of guy or a Belgian quad kind of guy, so I was really wanting to make where we were really wanting to make a Belgian dark strong ale or quad or something along those lines, and figured, okay, we've got a couple barrels in the back we want to experiment with. Let's do a Belgian dark strong, throw that in some barrels, and whatever's left over we'll just throw on tap. And thankfully it's been really well received so far.
It's good. It's good to hear. Have you noticed a change in just craft beer in general, especially here in the state of Florida? Because I know you and I have been speaking for quite some time. The industry has sort of shifted a little bit. And do you kind of see that the trends, the people that come into these places, the beers that really hit, have those changed in the years that you've been through?
I mean, no doubt. No doubt. When we got into the market, we were fun and unique and very niche, right? If people that came to your brewery, any brewery, or you went to a craft brewery, were people that were like geeking out, right? I wanted to punch people in the neck every time they said, "I'm a beer connoisseur." I'm like, "Can I punch you in the neck?" You're just a guy that likes beer, man, and it's really good beer. Don't get douchey about it. But yeah, that's kind of what the market was at that time. Now, craft beer, there's over 10,000 breweries in the U.S. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows that it's great handcrafted stuff. It's elevated all the brewing, right? It's hard to get a shitty beer now. And yeah, the market's changed a lot. Where now it's super cool. It's fucking super cool because we make it.
Yeah.
But it's not as cool. You know what I mean? It was, when you start a thing, you're like, it's just me and my boys, and we're in this club, and we're doing our thing. It's not like that anymore. Everybody knows about it, which is great. It's great for the market. But that said, it affected the market negatively in that now if it didn't matter if you had great beer. Before, you can have great beer in a shitty business model, and it was okay. Now, you have to have great beer and a great business model and the capital to go because you won't make it anymore. There's so much eye candy out there.
There's a lot of breweries that have closed down, not because of bad beer, but because of either bad business practices or unscrupulous landlords or just things out of their control completely, which is really sad.
I know it's really unfortunate that's going on. I mean, the guys who were at Concrete and Dogfish Miami were good friends of mine, and them having to close because of, from what I'm to understand, just the landlord wanting to put up a high-rise. It's super taxing and unfortunate to see great breweries having to go through things like that right now.
Do you think with some of the changes in laws, my first thought are things like tariffs and whatnot, is that going to have a big effect on your brewing operations, just raw materials and equipment and things of that nature?
Yes, obviously, because we're going to see a price increase in all raw materials across the board. I know every brewery out there that's doing any kind of packaging, they're definitely going to see it with the aluminum hikes. So I think overall you're going to see an increase in the overall cost of most beers across the board. So we'll see how that affects most businesses or most breweries everywhere. Us personally, we're going to be affected by the RBSG, but because we're not doing a whole lot of canning right now, it's pretty much just crowlers and very small limited runs of 16 ounces. I don't think it's going to hit us as hard as some of the bigger guys.
And it's interesting because, and I remember speaking to Dustin over at Saltwater years and years and years ago, and how when they opened, you opened up a brewery so that you can get distribution, so that you can get your cans out in the market and onto store shelves and things. And
yeah, and now if you talk to him, his tune has changed a whole lot.
100%.
Almost 180 degrees, if you will. No, distribution's become a different animal in that a lot of people think get into distribution because that's where all the money's being made, not think you've also got to pay for a sales team, you've got to pay for a marketing team, you've got to... The distributor's just a ticket taker, essentially. They're going to help get your beer to places, but they're not necessarily there to help sell it. So most of your money is made through the front of house.
Yeah, and in fact, I think I remember him saying, so many people saying, don't don't bother with distro.
Yeah.
It's just not what it used to be. And that leads me to the question of, because I know that you do have a limited amount of cans that are up front, which is fine. Could you even do distro? Could you even do something like that here? Or is that something that, being in what is in essence a commerce area, I don't want to use the term strip mall, but commerce area, that you're not really able to do? And if you were to decide to distribute Cove far and wide, you'd have to either go someplace else to get contracted or build a new location yourself.
I think we got. It's funny you asked that question because, we've stayed away from distribution on purpose because we've wanted to focus in the tap room. Now, if you see the brewery is built to do some heavy distribution, but we've been so focused on making sure that the tap room's been taken care of and that we've put all of our focus in making this area that we're sitting in. It's beautiful, huh? Sorry.
Just got the Oktoberfest. It is a work of art. So good. Sorry, back to distribution.
No. I'm glad.
Actually,
praise the beers, please.
Oh,
Praise you, baby. Praise you.
Actually, I'm amazed. I for like this, and you do have beautiful picture windows onto your fermentation tanks, but it doesn't feel like you have enough space to do a good footprint of distribution, especially since you've got 28 taps here. Seems like you're making just enough to keep these taps flowing, and that's it.
No, we could definitely do. Right now we've got a 3-vessel 20-barrel brew house. We've got 3 20-barrel uni tanks.
There's a 20 back there?
Yeah, it's
That's
a 3-vessel
amazing.
20. Yeah, 3-vessel 20. We've got 3 20-barrel unis. We've got a stackable 20-barrel lagering tank. We've got a 40-barrel uni, and we've got 4 stacked 10-barrel uni tanks for all of our seasonal special releases. We've got a 40-barrel Bright and a 20-barrel Bright. We've got some production back there. But our focus, because we've been selling all of our cooperage out of the tap room, we've really not had to worry about it. Now, it's funny you bring the distribution question up, because now we're at that point where we're starting to figure out that, look, we know we've got the front handled, and things happen in business, and it changes all the time. But we've got the tap room handled. We know that there's more growth there to handle, but we can now turn our eyes to the back. Meaning, how can we take beers from the back and send them out to market? So we are exploring that right now. We're seeing what our options are. There's a bunch of our brothers and sisters out there that have used certain models to grow their business slowly but methodically from right within their market, a little bit further out, and done it successfully. And we're looking to do the same thing. So we've been in talks now for a couple weeks to see what we're going to do to launch. But we're going to launch. The brand is ready to launch. I think our client base is ready to see the beers outside. And we've got the brand to do it and the quality of beer to do it. So,
And I would assume that you've got a fair number of locals, especially people like you that are so close that you can just sort of bike or walk or golf cart your way here. And you see the same people over and over again. Are they the ones that are saying, hey, can I get something, or I can just go to Publix and grab my 4-pack of Cove and bring it home?
Yeah, I'd imagine whenever I'm sitting at the bar after a day of work, people are asking me all the time, where else can I get the beer? We're getting asked frequently, or whenever we're working events, people are asking, are you in Publix yet, or are you in Total Wine, or what liquor stores are you in? So we've got enough inquiries, I think we can justify the movement into the distribution here.
That's amazing. Did you expect this when you signed up for the Cove?
Yes, I did. I saw, sorry, my eyeballs are burning. I saw the long-term potential, and we're still infants. We're still infants here.
It's interesting that you're having this
but
conversation.
We're looking at this from the market is different. There used to be the days where you could build a brewery and in 10, 20 years, it'd be big if you had the right capital, the right beers, in a smaller market. The market's very saturated now, which is fine, but the model changes a bit, right? Now you have to look at it from a different point of view. You got to have data. You got to have the right data. Who's following you? Who's coming to your brewery? There's data points that you need to follow in order to be successful. It's not just, I got a cool spot. Come hang out here, and we're popular. We got a great brand. Yeah, we got great beers. Yeah, the customer service here is great. The building is beautiful. I mean, you're in a resort when you're here. But that is not enough when you're out to market. When you're out to market, you got to make people feel that way. Some of the biggest brands on the planet know how to make you feel a certain way, right? Whether you like dogs that got spots, or whether you're into big-ass horses, or whether you're into frogs, or whether you like being on the beach, right, while you're in the snow. Marketing is a big part of it. And so there is that business side of stuff that we feel, we're so small. We're a small brewery. We're big, but we're small. We understand that that's what you need to have in order to really be meaningful in the market. And so baby steps. All that to say baby steps. But there's a plan. There's a plan.
That's awesome. And of course, at least you two have the beer thing figured out. So thank you so much for your time, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Still got some more food to go through. And I definitely got to try that Belgian dark. So.
Oh, yes.
Please do.
Thank you so much.
It took Dave a year and a half to get here. I almost want to punch him for it. But I love you too much, so I'm just going to kiss you for it.
You don't have to do either. It's okay. That's perfectly fine.
I get it. I see your wife over there. Don't worry.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, that is it for episode 193, part 2 of our interview with Cove Brewing. Thank you so much to the team there, and especially Manny, who's had been browbeating me to get there for quite some time, and I finally was able to do it and definitely enjoyed every single moment of it. Come back next week. We got some amazing things happening at the Florida Beer Podcast, and if you want to know where it's going to be, the best thing for you to do is to follow us on social media. We are available at floridabeerblog.com. floridabeerpodcast.com. If you're on Instagram or Threads, we are Florida Beer Blog. Facebook, we are FL Beer Blog. We're still working on our other social medias. Things are we got some things working. Let's just say that we got some things working. If you're on floridabeerpodcast.com, you will find that we are a proud member of the Florida Podcast Network, an amazing selection of Florida-based podcasts owned and operated by Flintstone Media. And if you have a brand or a personal podcast that you want to have full production for, Flintstone Media are your people. So definitely check them out. They are well worth your time. We are available on pretty much every podcasting app you can think of. We're on Apple Podcasts. We used to be on Spotify. Or actually, no, we are on Spotify. We used to be on Stitcher. We used to be on Google. We're on iHeart. We're on everything you can think of, even your smart speakers. Just ask them to play the Florida Beer Podcast, and they will do so. We're on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube or you're on Apple Podcasts or any one of those where you can subscribe, make sure to subscribe. If you can rate us, make sure to rate us. Give us a nice 5-star review, and that will definitely help us get the word out to our new friends. Our intro announcer is Jeff Brozovich. Field producer is Steve Pekala. Executive producer for the Florida Podcast Network and Grand High Poobah is Jemmy Legagneur. This is David Butler, your host and author. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening, and drink Florida Craft.